Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. You guys sent in some really fascinating stuff about health and wealth. Seems like we're going to try to figure out how those two things connect.
Yeah. I mean, you always hear it as like a trade-off, health or wealth. Like you got to pick one. But the research you sent over, it's more complex than that.
Yeah, it really is. And I think for so long, it really was just about getting rich.
Mm,
But more and more, these articles show people are realizing that money doesn't mean much if you don't have your health to enjoy it, you know?
absolutely. And that story you sent about what were their names? Arin the farmer and
Rohan the merchant.
yeah, Rohan the merchant. He's got all the money in the world, but his lifestyle is ruining his health. And then there's Arin,
Who's totally content.
right, even though he doesn't have much. It's like a good reminder. Like no matter how much money you have,
Yeah.
you got to take care of yourself.
I think that story's so important today, especially. I mean, everyone's feeling that pressure to be successful and make a ton of money. But we need those reminders. You can't enjoy any of it without your health.
Yeah. Totally agree. And, a lot of what you said was focused on the long term too, right? Like you sacrifice your health now to make money, but then later you might regret it. I mean, have you ever felt that? Like you're having to choose between your well-being and your, financial goals.
All the time. I think everybody feels pulled in all these different directions, right?
Yeah.
Work wants more, you're trying to hit your financial goals, and the next thing you know, that yoga class is out the window and you're ordering takeout again.
Yeah, I get it. And one of the studies you sent, actually, it found that constant stress, a lot of times that comes from money worries, right? That can really mess with your health, both mentally and physically.
That makes total sense. Like when I'm stressing about money, I'm way more likely to grab whatever's easy and
Mm-hmm.
processed instead of cooking. Like I know better, but my brain just goes into survival mode.
And that's what's so interesting about all this research. It's not just about knowing what's healthy, but how do you set up your life so you can actually make those choices consistently?
So it all comes back to that word balance,
Right.
not health or our wealth, but how do we make them work together?
And one of the most interesting things I saw in your research, it argues that being healthy actually makes you more productive, so you can make more money. Like it all feeds back into itself.
Whoa, so taking care of yourself is like an investment in your future earnings. I like that.
Mm.
But hold on, some of these articles also said that overworking yourself to make money is bad too, right? So where's the line? How much is too much?
It's a good question. It's not about becoming a workaholic, but it's realizing that if you're neglecting yourself, you're not going to enjoy any of it, the money or anything else.
Yeah. You know what they say? Nobody on their deathbed wishes they'd spent more time at the office.
Yes, exactly. You got to live your life too. And it seems like you're really interested in the how-to of all this, right? A lot of what you sent focused on daily practices, things like exercising, what you eat, even being part of a community.
Yeah. And there's so much good stuff there. I think we should dive into some of those strategies next time, like specific things you can do to be healthier and how that can benefit you financially too.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, before we get into all that, we hear so much about this whole hustle culture thing, right? Like you got to always be pushing, working more, doing more. But then how do you fit in all those healthy habits we were talking about?
Yeah, that's true. It's like you're always supposed to be on. But some of the stuff you sent, it actually says that whole mindset. It can be really bad for your health, Amy, for your finances in the long run.
There was that one article that compared it to running a marathon, right? Like without training or making sure you eat right, you might do okay at first, but eventually you're going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
Could even hurt yourself.
That's a good way to put it. And that's where, like, a lot of these articles are saying we need to think differently. Self-care. It's not a luxury. It's
Yeah.
essential. Like, you're investing in yourself.
It's have to be a priority, like paying your bills. You can't just skip it.
Right. And that might mean making some hard choices, like setting boundaries at work, saying no to things that just drain you, or actually putting exercise and meal prep in your schedule, even when it feels like you don't have time.
I can see how that'd be hard. I mean, there's always something, right? Another email, another thing to do. It's never ending.
It takes time. And those articles, they get that. You're going to mess up sometimes. There's deadlines, pressure. You might forget about those healthy habits. The important thing is to not beat yourself up. And remember, even small things help.
Right. So it's not about being perfect, just making progress,
Yeah.
right? Even if it's a short walk or, I don't know, eating an apple instead of chips or whatever.
Exactly. And this is something they talked about a lot. It really stuck with me. Celebrating the small wins, you do something good, take a minute to appreciate it. That actually helps you stay motivated, keeps
Yeah.
you going.
And those little wins add up.
Yeah. Each good choice makes it easier to make the next one.
I like that.
Yeah.
But these articles, they were honest too, right? This isn't always easy. You're going to hit roadblocks.
Yeah.
Have those moments where you're like, ugh, is this even working? And that's where they talked about community, right? Oh, yeah, we touched on that earlier. You don't have to do it all alone. Having people to support you, that can make a huge difference.
For sure. Think about it. It's way easier to stick to working out if you've got a buddy who'll go with you, or like talking to friends about money stuff. You can all learn from each other.
So all these things, they're connected.
Right.
Your health, your money, your relationships. It's not just separate pieces.
It makes me think about, how different cultures see this connection. You had some stuff about that too, right? Yeah. A lot of those cultures, they really value health more than wealth even. I remember this one quote. It said, "Without health, wealth is meaningless." Something like that.
Wow. That's a good one. Makes you realize you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it, what's the point?
Exactly. And it brings up a big question. We all have this limited time, right? So how do we make the most of it for our health and either our finances?
That a big question. And I think we should save that for next time. Like specific ways to make sure your financial goals are actually helping your health, not hurting it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about this connection between health and wealth, how our mindset matters, taking care of ourselves, having a good support system.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do it? Like, what are some specific things we can do? You sent over some stuff with some pretty practical advice, right?
Yeah. One thing that really stood out was this idea of treating your health like a long-term investment. Like you put money in a retirement fund. It's kind of like that. You're taking care of your future self.
Oh, that's a good way to think about it. Like pay the farmer now or the doctor later. Right.
Exactly. And what's cool is that a lot of those healthy choices, they actually save you money too. Like walking or biking instead of driving saves you on gas. Cooking at home, usually way cheaper than eating out. Even things like, meditation to manage stress, that can save you money on healthcare down the road.
So it's like you're getting a double benefit. Healthier and richer. Okay, but what about bigger financial goals like buying a house or saving for retirement? How do those fit in with all this?
Well, a lot of what you sent talked about financial literacy, like really understanding your money, where it's coming from, where it's going, what you want to do with it. Then you can make choices that help you reach those goals and stay healthy.
So it's not just about making more money. It's about managing it in a way that supports your health too.
Exactly. So say you're saving for a house. Maybe you cut back on eating out, put that money towards your down payment. Or you want to pay off debt. Look into a side hustle or ask for a raise at work.
But the key is don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Like don't work 2 extra jobs and burn yourself out.
Totally. It's about finding that balance where your money goals and your health goals, they're working together, not against each other.
I'm seeing the pattern here. Balance, balance, balance. Speaking of which, you also sent some stuff about how community can help with both, right? Like, it's easier to be healthy and manage your money if you got other people supporting you.
Yeah, for sure. The research you sent, it said having that support system, it makes a huge difference, whether it's like sharing healthy recipes with your friends or a community garden or even a group where you talk about money stuff. You're learning from each other, keeping each other on track.
I like that. It's like even simple stuff. Cooking with friends, going for a walk together. That can really make a difference. Makes me think about how all this connects to, the bigger picture. How our choices affect not just us, but everyone around us.
That's a great point. And it brings us back to what this whole deep dive is really about. True wealth. It's not just about how much money you have. It's about the richness of your life.
Yeah.
Your relationships, your community, how you're feeling, all of it.
So it's about redefining what success means. It's not just stuff. It's how you live your life, how you connect with people, how you make the world a better place.
Exactly. And when you focus on both your health and your finances, you're setting yourself up for a good life. A life with joy, abundance, and purpose.
All right, so as we wrap things up here, one last thought for everyone inspired by all this research we've been talking about. Think about this. You can't buy back time. Time you lose because you're sick. Even with all the money in the world, you can't get that back. So what's one small thing you can do today to take care of yourself? Drink some extra water, stretch for a few minutes, call a friend and go for a walk. Remember, little things add up, and they can make a huge difference in your health, your wealth, and how much you enjoy your life.
That's what I love about all this. Health and wealth, they feed into each other. When you take care of one, the other gets better too. And it's not just good for you, it makes your community better, the whole world better.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time. Keep learning, stay well, and keep exploring all the amazing ways our lives are connected.